Okay, good evening, everybody. It is a wet Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. If you're going out, please be safe out there on the roads. A lot of people have been wondering what happened to Donovan Sadiq after the election. As we know, the election did not make any sense. In District 1 alone, there were more voters that voted that were actually registered to vote. So those numbers did not make any sense. A lot of us candidates looked at that, and people looked at me and said, Donovan, what are you going to do? I came in third. If LaDonna Jimson, who came in second, isn't going to do anything, and she was a sitting council member, what could I possibly do? So Victoria Baca is back, and unfortunately, it's going to be a matter of time before she is removed from office. As you see, she is already doing Highland Fairview's bidding. And I'm going to make this disclaimer before I even start. Ido Benvizi, good friend of mine, businessman. I mean, I'm not against a businessman. Wish me happy New Year's and Merry Christmas. I did the same to him. It is what it is. I mean, my problem with Highland Fairview and any businessman that comes out here is I do not want them to make a profit off of me and taking funds from my neighborhood, as has been happening, to benefit the rest of the city. Because like I said, I still live in Edgemont, a lot of big problems there, whatever. But we have Victoria Baca back in power, and we're going to see how she, as we've already seen, she's for appointment, but yet when she was on the school board, people need to vote. It's a crazy thing. So we're going to be reporting things like that. Idiot Gutierrez. It has been 5 months since I requested to meet with Mr. Gutierrez in regards to Mrs. Perez's hole in her home. Now, we fixed the hole in her home. However, I still want my meeting with this idiot. And again, it's been 5 months. He won't meet with me. So I don't know what the problem is with that. You're a mayor. You represent the city. I'm one of the longest residents of the city. So you need to meet with me as soon as possible, or I'm going to continue to blast you on this show. A lot of stuff going on. As everybody knows, when you don't hear from me or you hear me being silent, you know that I'm investigating stuff. So we have a big problem with that Box Springs Water Company. And 6 years ago now, I believe, we had an embezzlement problem. And everybody thinks that, that problem is gone, or, just when you take your eyes off the problem, another problem presents itself. And there is a big problem going on there. Does Victoria Baca care about it? Of course not, because she might be involved in it. Did LaDonna Jimson care about it? Of course not, because they might be involved in it. So we're going to be reporting that and keep you guys stat. Trust me, we are doing what we can do as a regular citizen group that's going out doing things. So we have a new page called the Inland Empire Informer. This thing is going to talk about all issues within the Inland Empire. As you see and as you hear and as you know, the only press that we get is negative press when it comes to murders, when it comes to corruption, when it comes to anything that keeps us looking like Compton, California of the 1980s. And that's pretty much how they want to stereotype us. So a lot of stuff is going on. And so when you don't see me at city council, it's not that I'm not watching. I'm watching, but I'm also doing some other stuff because we got other agendas that we're trying to roll and get through. And if you've been listening to the podcast, Pastor Don, we had our radio podcast today. Pastor Don has been doing a marvelous job of deeds, not words. Who ran on that slogan? Oh, that was me, because anybody could say anything. It's deeds, not words. And this man had a vision, and he's bringing it to fruition. And a lot of things are going to be happening out there in Rancho Belago. And I want you guys to remember, having the title of a developer. I know a developer in this town is bad stuff. There has only been one developer that has ever made that word controversial, and that's Highland Fairview and Ido Benvizi. And he's really not a developer because he hasn't produced anything. I was coming out of the store, and this older gentleman was talking about, he's got a $500,000 house, and he lives on the east side, and things like that. And he's a very nice gentleman. And but again, not knowing, saying, I met with the mayor, and he told me this, whatever the deal is. But I had to ask him, well, are you aware that the mayor received a significant amount of his money from the developer that wants to build that project that is near your home. And then I had to inform him, show me anywhere in the United States or in the world where you're going to buy a $500,000 home next to a warehouse where diesel trucks are going up and down your street. This is why this city is the way it is. And you got to look at the demographics of the city. We are an uneducated, a majority of us are an uneducated population, meaning that if you look, just look at what you have. When you look at your infrastructure, and when you look at 99-cent stores, if your city has a lot of 99-cent stores, you're dealing with a poor population. So, and I was informing this gentleman that, he's saying, well, Skechers did this and did that. I said, well, are you aware that Skechers doesn't have phase 2 and 3 complete? He was like, there's supposed to be a phase 2 and 3? Yes, there's supposed to be a phase 2 and 3. Misinformed electorate, misinformed residents, which is why we are doing what we're doing. But please, I want you guys to like and share. Go to Reflections Church, Moreno Valley on Facebook and share with Pastor Don some of your ideas or anything that you want to say. We're getting a lot of great feedback from his daily devotionals as well as his weekly devotional. And before I forget, give me 1 second. I want to say the Gap Girls, it's a ministry, living life with purpose and vision. They're Moreno Valley Unite. It's going to be Monday, January 23rd, coming up. And it starts at 7 p.m. It's at Discovery Christian Church. Discovery Christian Church. And it's going to be hosted by Discovery Christian Church at 27555 Alessandro Boulevard, Moreno Valley, California. The guest speaker is going to be Julie Pearson, is the founder of Gap Gals Ministry. Julie will share her story and struggle to gain a strong sense of identity, which ultimately gave rise to vision and purpose. As women, we have a common battle of knowing we are who we are, what we should do, and where we should go. God has a clear vision for women, and once we understand his vision, our purpose becomes much more clear. Where there is no vision, the people perish. And that's Proverbs 29:18. Now, a lot of people are going to be saying, well, Donovan's on this religious kick. I'm not on a religious kick at all. I'm a Catholic. I do what I do. I'm a Christian, just period. I don't care how you want it done. I visit other churches. I don't have a problem with anything of that nature. And I've been blessed myself. And this Christmas, my mom came out. She wanted to go to city council. Thank God my mom did not go to city council because she's been watching the shenanigans via internet and being the newspaper. And if you think that I'm a problem, you don't want to get her started, okay? Because I get a lot of my traits from my mom, and you can't tell me nothing. And if you can't tell me nothing, you definitely can't tell her nothing. So thank God the council was shut down during the holidays because I don't think you guys are ready for that. So it's a funny thing, but I had a really great visit. My brother came out and had a lot of family members, and we just do what we do. My mom made a whole bunch of gumbo, and all the gumbo was gone within 3 days. I mean, people came and just got pictures of it and just took it out of the place. But we still have the Hot Seat Radio Show. We're going to be doing a lot of things. Eloise Reyes, she is the now new assembly member in San Bernardino. We helped her with that. We got the word out, and we told people Cheryl Brown is not an ethical candidate. Now, when we're speaking of Cheryl Brown, if you go to Denise Fleming, the rumor is she is going to run for mayor. And as I've said, this person is not an ethical candidate. Highland Fairview manipulated the numbers and threw her some numbers because she was willing. At some of our debates, she went up to Highland Fairview and said, I can't wait to work with you. She's willing to take the money. And we're going to keep you updated to that because, again, she's no longer on the school board. She has her page. We welcome her to come on the show. A lot of stuff to explain herself, whatever. I mean, I'm not a politician. I'm not running. But since we're talking about politicians and we're talking about running, we in the 1st District need to start getting ready for a recall and getting ready for new leaders and representatives. Not leaders, representatives. Now, Edgar Garcia, he was an opponent of mine in the last election. Mercado, Mr. Mercado, Jerry Mercado. He was also an opponent of mine. I've met with these gentlemen and I am dedicated. These are two superb guys. It's hard to pick one over the other. But I'm going to tell you, as somebody who vets these candidates and looks at their background, these are names you need to remember. Now, if we are going to go to an election to vote for the people of District 4, I want you guys to remember a name called Jaime Moreno. Jaime Moreno. He ran in District 4, I believe, 2 years ago, or I think it was 2 or 4 years ago, whatever it was. 2 years ago, young guy. He's part of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Very intelligent young guy. I'm almost 50 years old. I am not going to run for office again because I serve the community, at least I feel I serve the community better being a community watchdog. Now, I have been proven to put documents up and mean what I say and say what I mean. And I have been correct in regards to certain candidates where they're at. Now, we had a lot of great candidates that ran in for mayor, and it's unfortunate that money seemed to trump ethical candidates. But you keep these names in mind. Kerry Finn, excellent candidate. The Pedons, either or, excellent candidates. I'm not sure. I don't think Mr. Price is going to run again, but if he did, he would be another good person. Keep these names in mind because hopefully we will see them again. You will not see my name on a thing because it is time to pass the baton on to younger people, and I want to do other things and travel and enjoy my life. So, Evan Moron, get ready for some problems over there. Here's a guy that is just willing to bend over and take it in the cheeks. And and people say, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." I'm not a politician. I have nothing to lose anymore. I'm going to say what I got to say on this show. And if he wants to refute what I'm saying, you're more than welcome to come on the show. You're a public figure. You're an elected figure. The Supreme Court has upheld in 1966 that you could even lie on a politician, outright lie on them. They can't sue you because they are elected officials. It is part of the job to be criticized, and they have outlets to refute whatever somebody's saying. So when people say, "Oh, are you afraid about being sued?" I'm never afraid about being sued by a public official, an elected official. Slander can never happen. So I know a lot of people claim they don't watch this show, but really they do. And our radio show, we average at least 11,000 listeners when you go to the Hot Seat radio show. We're going to have a lot of guest speakers. We're going to have a lot of video. As you see behind me here, we have this green screen, and I'm in shadow. Sorry about that. Maybe I should go this way. This green screen here. So we're going to be using a lot of green screen technology, and we're going to be showing you what these candidates are doing and some events that are going to be happening in case you don't make it. So I know a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, Donovan fell off," and that is what happens here in Moreno Valley when you have politicians. You have people who run to split the vote, which a lot of people did. Eduardo Perez, this guy was bought and paid for by Victoria Baca. And we know that for a fact. And she paid a lot of people in the district to help split the vote because once again, she only came up with 33% of the vote, which is, what did I tell you guys? She could never go above the 30 percentile threshold. And if you look at all the other candidates that came in, we were all within 10 to 20 votes of each other, which statistically, everything has a bell curve. That doesn't even happen in statistics, and that shouldn't have happened. There should have been a significant difference between all the candidates, and that didn't happen. And you got people who didn't even campaign that had as many votes as Chris Baca, so on, so forth. So there was a really big problem with the election, but I'm not going to continue to speak on that. We got to move forward and watch what is happening. And as you see this agenda that Highland Fairview is doing. Speaking of Highland Fairview, we are talking about, and isn't it funny how they want to distract you with what's going over there in District 4. District 4 people need to vote. Idiot Gutierrez talking about, well, the money. People, you got to remember, this guy cost the city over $100,000 in litigation in his illegal appointment that him and Victoria Baca caused us. There's videotape, if you go back and look, there's videotape on the city website where he made a statement. If it is found that a judge determines that I am illegally appointed, I will step down and that's the end of it. He didn't do that. What he did was he appealed it, and here we are today. And he's talking about money. Hey, those people need representation and they need to vote. Now, out of the cracks of the sewer, people like Radine Ayers come out. You didn't hear them at all through the elections and everything like that. This lady is in charge of the Democratic Club of Moreno Valley. You have the United Democrats, which is controlled by Victoria Baca. Remember I've said, these are all the same people. They're all the same people. She had her daughter run for school board. Her daughter had no intentions of winning, had no chance of winning. Why did she run? She ran because that is a way for Radine Ayers to funnel money to her daughter from the Democratic Party of California. And this is how it works. You guys got to look and research how this stuff works. Now, who also is a candidate of the Democratic Club of Moreno Valley? LaDonna Jimson. Now, anybody in politics, if you're a novice or if you've been in politics for a while, you got a poli-sci degree. If you came to me and told me you were a bank robber and it came out in your history, the first thing anybody would tell you is you're done. You are done, because the backlash of that is going to take you out regardless. So immediately you want to replace that candidate with a candidate that can run to keep that seat. But did you notice that the Democratic Club of Moreno Valley stayed with LaDonna Jimson? And guess what happened? Victoria Baca is now on the seat. This is what we're talking about with people who don't know what they're doing. They don't care about this city. All they care about is enriching their pockets. Because why would you run a terrible candidate? It's almost like a Hillary Clinton thing. I don't know why people are shocked that she lost. But if you look at LaDonna Jimson and you look at Hillary Clinton, years, the Republicans couldn't wait to run against her. They were trying to run against her 8 years ago. So on, so on, so forth. They couldn't wait because they knew she is beatable by her reputation and her past. Fundamentally, people are suckers for the truth. They're suckers for it. And fundamentally, people are righteous people and they want the right thing and they want the right representatives and they're ethical. Yes, her story wasn't a story of redemption, because if it was redemption, she would have told us she was a bank robber when she first ran. Or I don't care if she said it 8 years ago or 12 years ago. You got to keep saying that so that people know, and then you could move forward. Or she could have stepped down for the 4 months and then ran again once it was already out. But the fact of the matter is, as a political pundit, she had no chance of winning. And of course, she's mad at me and she's mad at the world. But here's what you got to ask yourself. Yeah, she came in second. Where were all her friends that voted for her overwhelmingly by 70% 2 years ago? Where were they at? Who did they vote for? Or did they even vote at all? So don't let LaDonna Jimson's tears cry for you. And if you saw a post that I put up where she's contacting me, because I don't contact her. We're not friends like that. I did work with her, but once I found out she was a bank robber, I separated myself. And I'm going to go, again, it's politics. I'm going to go with the narrative that works for me. If you're a bank robber, of course I'm going to use that. Victoria Baca used it. Nobody's saying anything bad about her. Matter of fact, Victoria Baca put out a hit piece on her. I think I was the only candidate in this district that defended LaDonna Jimson and said that this is bullcrap. Even though it's true, this is bullcrap what you're doing, Victoria Baca. But nobody gives me credit for that. They just think I'm just this, they're trying to make this narrative that I'm just this bad guy. But yet, in 2 years, I have more accomplishments than LaDonna Jimson, and she was the representative. But again, this is not about me. This is about my neighborhood. This is about District 1. So we're going to keep doing that, and we're going to keep talking about that. But let me get back to this. As the city keeps talking about money and representation, why aren't they talking about $300,000 that Highland Fairview owes us in litigation? Why aren't you up in arms about money that this man said that he was going to pay? Where's Jesse Molina at the city council, like he said he was in the press enterprise, holding this man accountable? Why aren't we talking about that? $800 here. If you were $300,000 behind in your house note or whatever, your house would have been foreclosed a long time ago. This deal needs to be either scrapped or he needs to come up with that money. And I'm going to be meeting with the city attorney, and I want to know why. I'm going to be meeting with some of the council members, and I want to know why. And I put in a request to meet with Victoria Baca, Yixtin Gutierrez, Jeffrey Gaiba, anybody that will talk to me. And I want to know why and what is the repercussions of this man not paying his bills. Am I mad at Ido Benbizi? Of course not. If you can get away with it, you can get away with it. But there are people like myself and others that are watching you, and we're not going to let you get away with it. So stand by for that. So for those of you who thought I had just fell off and I'm doing this or doing that, I haven't. Animal shelter, still a big issue. I want to know why we are killing those animals, and now we're killing them at a clip even faster than last year. Statistically, I know the year just started, but statistically, they're off to the races. And every time I look at my animals and they look at me like, hey, what do you haven't been talking about the animal shelter? I have. So please tune in to the Hot Seat Radio Show on Wednesdays, 4 to 6 p.m. on Spreaker. We're a live podcast. We go live. We have the Hot Seat. The Inland Empire Informer is going to be a big thing. Reflections Church. We have a new show called the Daryl Terrell Times, where Mr. Daryl Terrell and Mr. Moreno Valley, he is going to continue to talk about what he needs to do. Talking Max, she's going to be doing her show. So we're going to get this information out to you guys and post it as fast and quickly as possible. So please stand by. But we haven't gone away. Everybody, please be safe. If you're going up to the mountains, a lot of snow is falling. I love it. You should love it. It's going to be a great thing. But I'm Donovan Sadiq. This is the new Inland Empire Informer. I haven't gone away, and I'm not going to go away. I live here. I've been here for 39 years. I'm not going anywhere. Donovan Sadiq, this is my report for the day.